This is James Bullock with WarriorSciences.com, and today we're going to talk about the spearing elbow. Okay, today we're going to discuss another one of the elbows. This elbow is called the spearing elbow. It can be used really well to brace in defense if someone all of a sudden rushes at you. So it can kind of be used as an index a little bit. This is one of those that is more of a structural thing versus a pure impact. So we've already shown the horizontal elbow and the vertical elbow, I believe. So if I have him, this would be considered an impact. So it's an impact thing. Well, when it comes to the spearing elbow, it's more of a structural thing. So you're creating, I hate to use the term, I don't want to use the term framing or anything, because there's instructors out there that are trying to create all these new fancy terms and stuff for movements. It's just, it's a structural position that's pretty strong, and it will hurt them if they run into it. It's not a primary thing, but it's something that can give you time. So it could be one of those things where, you know, let's say he all of a sudden, you know, throws a haymaker at me, and all I do is I meet him by taking this part of my elbow and placing it right into his sternum as he's moving. Or even if I don't move, if all of a sudden he steps in really hard and I cover up, that hitting pretty hard right there, I just heard him, you might have heard him breathe out, because that doesn't feel good at all. Okay, even my finger to his sternum, he doesn't like that. Okay, let me quit picking on him now. So it's one of those things where it can end up landing on the sternum, or if he throws, he's going to throw slow. If you throw slow, it's one of those things where I could just run into him this way. Now, I have to do something else after that. Obviously, being in this position after he's thrown, he's not, an assailant is not going to stop. He may duck under, get underneath my elbow, try to take me to the ground, all kinds of stuff. This is one of those things where I would, personally, I would drop my center if all of a sudden, you know, that punch was coming, and this is one of the reactions that I had. So if he steps in and throws that punch, it's one of those things where I could be here with it, because if all of a sudden he did drop, that gives me an opportunity to put my hands elsewhere, create space with my hips, and deal with if he was the type of person to go for a takedown or something. And the thing about it is, you have to account for that as well, and we'll get into videos that deal with that too, because it seems like everybody and their uncle is training in MMA. You talk to anybody, especially guys, I mean, oh yeah, I take MMA classes. They may not even be fighters, but they're taking MMA classes. And I'm not saying that's a good or a bad thing, but in the grand scheme of things, people will have some kind of training in some fashion. So you can't always just rely on the fact that you think it's always going to be, you know, standing up. They could end up on the ground, but 99% of the time, an altercation starts on the feet. So once again, the spearing elbow, I'm not going to have him, you know, throw anything. I'm creating a structure. So it's where it could be, this could be my cover if he had thrown, or I can come in and I can land here. I could aim for the face, but I really don't want my elbow that high. Okay, it's not the same as doing a vertical elbow. Now, I'm not saying that you can't step in and do a vertical elbow, but this is a structural thing. So it could be, you know, all of a sudden he reaches to grab me, you know, type of thing. You know, if he's really intent on grabbing me right here or grabbing my throat, you know, I can blade my body and get through here. So it's one of those things where it creates that opportunity that I'm right here. And I'm already on the inside, so that affords the opportunity to do a lot of other things from there. Now, you don't technically want to do the spearing elbow from the left side unless your left side is forward. Reason being is an elbow is really short from the back side. So this isn't something that I want to do. I don't want to twist my body and be here. Now, if I have a hold of him, I can do things like vertical elbows and horizontal elbows and things like that, because I have what's called an attachment. I don't necessarily want to do that from back here. He throws a haymaker. I may cover, but I'm not necessarily going to use this as a spear. Okay. But I may, if he throws that hand, I may work on something like this where I just throw this hand up, crash with this, you know, and then I've got other things as well. So this is the basic idea of this. Notice how it creates a solid structure. Jesse should be able to reach up, take both hands and put them on my elbow and try to push me back, and he should push himself back whenever he does it. Go ahead and do it again. See, it should be solid. Now if my shoulder is retracted and he does that, watch what happens. I collapse under the pressure. So stick that shoulder out. That's called protraction. I don't want to be retracted like this. Number one, it looks on. And that's the introduction to the spearing elbow.
Thank you for watching. Make sure that you subscribe for new videos every week.